Cody here with another editing tutorial, and this time we're going to be in Lightroom Classic. We're going to be doing some dodging and burning. Basically what dodging and burning is darkening and lightening certain portions of your image to make them have more contrast, more clarity, or pop more. It really can take your images, your travel photos, your landscape photos, your portraits to the next level. So we're going to get started here. And if you notice up here on the right hand side, there's these three icons, and basically these are all selective adjustments. So we're going to hit the brush icon. And next to effect, if you click it, you're going to get this drop down menu. You're going to get all these different objects, and you notice burn and dodge are in there. So I'm going to get started with some dodging. So let's click dodge. And the most apparent part of this image is obviously the waterfall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dodge the waterfall. And you'll see that the exposure under the dodge selection is plus 0.25. So it's basically just raising the exposure. So when you hit the brush icon, this little circle will pop up, and that basically represents the size of your brush. You can make it smaller or larger by hitting the bracket keys on your keyboard. So I'm going to put it about right there, and I'm basically just going to click and just start brushing. And what this is going to do is it's going to brush the adjustment onto the photo. And you can see the effect taking place as I brush down the waterfall. And once you're done brushing, if you hit O on your keyboard, it will bring up rubylith mode. And basically what that is it shows red where you brush, so you can see any spots that you might have missed. So you can see I've missed the top of this waterfall here and some of the edges. So let's fill it all in. Down here into the water too. Make sure you don't miss anything, because otherwise it'll look patchy and it'll look weird. Okay, that looks pretty good. One thing I do want to note is over here where it says brush, there's this feature called auto mask. Basically what auto mask is the program will find edges. It will try and guess of where you're trying to brush, and it'll basically try and keep your brush and where you've painted inside those edges. And it actually does a fairly good job. As you can see on the waterfall, when I got close to the edge, it stayed in the edge. It's not the most accurate tool, but for situations like this, if you're just editing a basic portrait or a travel photo you took, it works really well, and I use it a lot. So let's turn rubylith mode off by hitting O on the keyboard, and let's do a before and after. So let's go to before. Now pay attention to the waterfall, and you can see it looks good. It's a little dark, but once we go after, you can see how much it brightened up, and the waterfall pops out of the image more. And I might raise it just a little bit. One thing to note is you can always go back after you've brushed in the effect and actually raise the adjustment or lower the adjustment if you think you went a little too far. So the next thing I'm going to dodge is going to be these highlights on these rocks, these bright portions. I think if we dodge those, it'll put a little bit more pop and bring out some detail in those rocks. So I'm going to make a new brush by hitting new. Same thing, exposure is going to default to plus 0.25, and I'm going to start brushing in these highlights, these highlighted portions of the rocks. Haven't restarted my computer in a while, so it might run a little bit slow, but it's okay. Start brushing in the adjustment. By the way, this can be sort of processor and intense. I actually have a pretty fast computer. Just haven't restarted it in a while. It's starting to run a little slow, but if you don't have a fast computer, your computer might struggle, especially on this image here is actually a 43 megapixel image. So it's a pretty large file. So let's hit O on the keyboard once again to enter rubylith, and let's see where we've brushed so we can see where we've missed. And we've hit most of the areas that I want to emphasize. Now, one thing to note also is Photoshop, if this were a portfolio image, I would definitely be doing this in Photoshop, and I'm going to make a dodging and burning tutorial for Photoshop. But this method here works perfect for portraits like this image right here that you're going to post to Instagram or Facebook. It'll really just give your image a better pop to certain areas that you want. So I think that's good on that. I'm going to hit O again. And let's do a before and after here by hitting this icon down here in the lower left-hand corner. So there's before and there's after. And you can see what a difference that actually makes. So the third and final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to burn these dark portions of the rock. So I'm going to hit new up here, and then I'm going to hit the drop down menu, and I'm going to hit burn. And you'll notice what burn does is it brings the exposure to negative 0.30. So it's lowering the exposure of the areas that you select. So I'm going to start brushing that into the dark portions of the rock. This is a really good way to draw the viewer's eye to a certain part of the image. Obviously here the waterfall is where the viewer's eye is going to go, but on other images it's not as obvious, and you can really do a lot with this technique. I use it in pretty much all of my portfolio work and most of my portraits now once I started doing it in Lightroom. So let's hit O again just to see where we've brushed. Okay, so we need to do a lot actually. Let's get down here. Let's get up here on these black parts of this rock. And I'm probably not going to go all the way to the right hand side like over here because I think that's dark enough. If areas are really, really, really dark, I usually don't, like down here. I'm not going to bother with that. Let's go over here and right up here. I'm doing this pretty quick for time's sake, but usually I would take my time, make sure I have all the areas I wanted. So let's hit O on the keyboard again to exit rubelith mode, and let's do a final before and after. So let's do a before and after the dodging and burning. And you can see that made quite a bit of difference. It's subtle, but it's there, and it really helps your images. It really helps you take your images to the next level. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, it'd be awesome if you gave the video a like and subscribe to me. I'm going to be releasing a lot of new content. I'm going to try and upload a new video every Monday and Friday. We'll see how that goes. And if you could follow me on Instagram, that'd be awesome. I post a lot of landscape photography, so thanks for watching. I appreciate it.